I am Bubba. I am Bubba the Brewski. Everything is as it should be, huh? Spencer is back. He can be my caddy now. I need to work on my golf game, huh? Every year I play Igor. He beats me. But then again, he has an extra month of practice.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
All right, Panther fans. So we got Vancouver tonight. I'm a little bit under the weather, so it should be a little bit of a low-key thing here today. We draw Lankinen. Bob draws in. We're still going 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. Yeah, Belinskas is still playing forward. And Vancouver comes in. They haven't been playing all that great. We have just been doing what we do, which is find a way to survive. Apparently, Barkov and Tkachuk are soon to return. I hope they're not rushing back Barkov, but you know, I mean, like I said, if they all wanted to sit out a month, everybody that played last year on the championship team should just be able to take a month off during the season to just stay fresh and rested for what's important and trying to repeat. That said, you know, first game back after a road trip, kind of an emotional road trip. A lot of things went down in those last 3 games. So I wouldn't be surprised to come out, you know, if we come out a little bit lackadaisical. Can Vancouver take advantage of that? How Lankinen is going to do against us? Is Bubba going to make some saves and stop letting them in short side? Let's see how this goes. All right, so 1-1. After one very even period of play, the first 10 minutes, nothing happened. And in the second 10 minutes, everything happened. Both teams have 6 shots. Both teams have a goal. Nobody really realized that the goal had been scored against Bobrovsky. I'm not saying I'm the only one I saw it, but as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's a goal. And then it took TV a couple of minutes to catch up to that. But it was a goal. You know what I mean? I forget who it was, comes around to do a wraparound, and Bob kicks it out. But before he kicked it out, you could see there was enough white ice there. And then we come back, like, I don't even think it was 3 seconds later. I know it wasn't a minute later. And Jesper Bohlquist. So you've got Bohlquist, Greer, and Samoskevich on a line together. And they look good. Every line that Mackie Samoskevich ends up on, you see a lot of energy. That line starts playing with a lot of energy. And I know they play different positions, and I know that they're different players. But that reminds me a lot of when Trocheck first came up. He'd play some center and some wing, and he'd get moved all around the lineup. But it seemed like whatever line he played on, he boosted the energy level of that line. Now, Gadjevich did leave, wasn't on the bench. Don't know if he came back or not. So now that would have us at 10-7, right? Yeah, so there's that. Bob makes some good saves. He's shut down things short side, so they're linking in. All right, let's move on to second period. All right, so we're tied at 2 after 2. That was a busy period. So Hughes takes the shot, beats Bob from out far. It was a blast. It was a good shot. Fine. But then the Panthers challenged because they said that there should have been a stoppage of play. And apparently what they were looking at was the face-off. And if you watch the face-off, it's not debatable. The puck hits the Vancouver player's glove and then goes down and never hits the ice. And as far as we all know and the broadcast knows, that would mean that it was not a legal face-off and you'd have to run the draw again. But for whatever reason, they watched it and they called it still a good goal and said that there shouldn't have been a stoppage of play. So unless there's some technicality to the rule that nobody on TV and nobody on the stream was aware of, both Panthers and Vancouver fans, I don't know why that was a good goal, but it was. And then we just tied it up here on the power play. Lundell with a beautiful snipe. Huh? What did I tell you about this kid? What did I tell you when you all telling me Lundell couldn't score because he had a couple of years where he wasn't really getting an opportunity and he's supposed to play defense on that third line? I told you. Just let the kid develop. Just like I'm going to tell you about Mackie Samoskevich. Now, maybe nobody watching this video has been doing it, but he's had plenty of chances tonight. He's not been able to bury his chances tonight, but he's all over the ice. He looks really, really good out there, and he's taking chances and not hurting us defensively, and eventually those goals are going to come. So, for those of you who have been fans of this channel for the last 3 or 4 years, I will interpret any disparagement of Mackie Samoskevich as though you were disparaging Owen Tippett. Because, damn it, we already traded away one top draft pick to let him go score 25-plus goals with somebody else. We're not going to do it again. So for anybody who's bitching about Samoskevich not scoring, shut up. He's going to score. Stop trying to get the kid traded. Other than that, Bob looks good. Lankinen looks good. We should have a good third period. There's been a little bit of... the refs are letting them play. Right? The refs are letting them play. We've already had one fight. Reinhart hurt his shoulder, came back. Gadjevich has not come back. So there's that. All right, let's move on to third period. We have not had an overtime game yet.
We are going to overtime!
Well, crap. We lost. Finally got into overtime, and we didn't really have too much in the way of opportunities, and so we give Vancouver their first win of the season. It's not like Vancouver sucks, okay? And also, without making too many excuses, we did play the rest of the game, most of the game, with 10 forwards. So there's that. I got no worries, no complaints about how this team looks. No Barkov, no Kachuk. Gadjevich goes out, and Bob made a hell of a lot of good saves. Bob kept us in that game. I think Vancouver had the better of the play. It was pretty even, but I would think that Vancouver had possession and the better of the play, maybe a little bit more than we did. First came back from a road trip, and there's some guys logging some minutes. Let's not, like Lundell, Reinhart definitely logging some minutes. Samoskevich is Maurice is just putting him out there every shift because he's got fresh legs, obviously. He hasn't played as much hockey as the rest of the guys have. He was on the ice when the goal was scored in overtime, but it wasn't his fault. Lundell kind of got beaten, and Reinhart kind of got beaten. Bob kind of got beat. But it's 3-on-3 overtime. It's designed so that the game ends. You know what I mean? I don't mind it ending that way in terms of rather than going to the shootout. You always want to get 2 points, but it's not the end of the world. So we're hopeful that maybe Chucky will be back on Saturday. We still have the game Thursday, obviously. And then Barkov is supposed to be able to start skating sometime soon. No rush to come back there. From top to bottom, I mean, Liddell, Lusterine, and Reinhart line continues to look fantastic. Now, when Barkov and Kachuk comes back, the only way you can really keep Lundell, Lusterine, and Reinhart together, I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen or should happen or any of that, but if you wanted to keep those guys together, you then need to move Mackie Samoskevich up somewhere into the top 6. And I'm not saying, obviously, that he's ready to be a top 6 guy because, you know, he needs to score some goals. But if you wanted to keep those 3 together, Lundell, Lusterine, and Reinhart, if you wanted to keep them together because they have played so well, that's really the only way that you're going to be able to do it. Defensively, there wasn't really any big issues tonight. It was just a good, close hockey game. Ekblad had his one nightly turnover at the blue line, and then when you have to watch him try to turn his hips to chase the guys, but Bob made the save on that breakaway. Eventually that puck's going to go into the back of the net. Eventually Ekblad's going to lose the puck at the blue line and not be able to turn around, and it's going to be a breakaway, and Bob's going to let up that goal. So hopefully it doesn't happen when it really costs us, but eventually that's coming. But again, we played with 10 forwards. Belinskas is out there for Belinskas taking face-offs. I'd seen him take. I know I seen him take at least one face-off. I don't know if he took more than one. So while we are watching the games and enjoying the games, and it's hockey and all of that, I'm really not so sure how serious Maurice and the rest of the guys are taking these games. I kind of feel like they're like going to play the first 60 games to kind of get things moving and then pick it up when there's 20 games left. Because, when your goal is to repeat as Stanley Cup champions, it's a little bit of a different dynamic. And of course, for us, we would be getting to the Stanley Cup Finals for 3 seasons in a row, which it's been a while since the team played a full 82-game season and made it to 3 finals in a row there. I know Tampa made it to 3 finals in a row, but we all know, I don't take anything away from them, but it was fewer games. Other than that, we lost. There's nothing bad, nothing good, too much to take from this. Sam Miskevich looks good. I know he needs to score, but he is... Some players have... any young player can come in and show that speed and all of that. But what I like about him is that you're not seeing it, how can I put this? He's not hurting us defensively, right? So you're not seeing him get caught too deep and then he can't get back. And he was forechecking on one of the episodes there. It might have been like towards the end of the third period where he just would not let Vancouver out of the zone. So when you see a kid like him with the natural talent that he has, and he's going to get to learn from Barkov and Lundell and Reinhart and Bennett and Kachuk, it's such a good situation for him. So hopefully when we all get healthy and Nosek comes back, Hamiskevich has kind of been logging minutes on what would be our fourth line with Boquist, Greer, and Samoskevich. That kind of would be our fourth line, but if Nosek comes back, maybe you move Boquist up to the third line, maybe you move Samoskevich back down. Don't know, but kid belongs in the lineup. So and Maurice seems to be giving him plenty of ice time. And why not? Because with the guys that are injured, I don't know what the ice time has been, but it sure seems like Bennett, Reinhart, Lundell are playing a lot of minutes. So no rush, Barkov, Kachuk, you guys come back when you're ready. All right, short and sweet for tonight. It was just a nice, easy-going, not too eventful game. Apparently, there's some kind of, with the goal that we weren't sure why it would have been a goal. I guess there's some technicality to the rule where if it hits his glove and then hits the ice, that it's still a valid face-off. But if it had hit the ice first and then hit his glove, it wouldn't have been. So even Maurice, when they explained it to Maurice was kind of like, okay, whatever. So there was some kind of technicality to that rule. All right, so we get our first overtime game of the year, not our first overtime win. We'll see you all live at noon tomorrow. And don't know if I'll have any skit videos out tomorrow. My daughter comes in tomorrow. She's going to be at the house at 1 o'clock. So she's going to be hanging around for Friday and Saturday. So I may not have a lot of extra content out there for those couple of days. And then I'll pick it back up when she leaves. All right, so I guess that's 1 point.